And if game 1 was anything to judge by, we might see some crazy, crazy aggression once again.
Oh yeah, it was a pretty nice first game, very well negotiated by hanfy. I've been getting very impressed by him. Like I knew he had a good PVZ, but I never saw him in the other matchups, and now I can tell he's like one of those really smart players.
Yeah, he really is. So coming to the patch that Zerg got, like there's people out there that do think that some people are patch Zergs, and I think that mentality does exist, but I don't think it's because of the patch. I think it's just because Zergs, like 1 or 2 Zergs figured things out, and then from there everyone copied those people, and now it's like becoming a really, really big trend. It's very, very punishing, and it's across like almost all matchups. Zergs have just figured out how to do things very, very interestingly. So hanfy here is one of those players. He's one of those players that it just clicked with him all of a sudden, and from there he's powering out so many strong games against very, very top tier players.
Yeah, he really came out of nowhere. You know, actually, there was a German player named Hanf in Warcraft, and I thought that was him, but later on I learned that it wasn't. It was a completely different guy.
Huh. Did he capitalize the N as well, or was it just purely name coincidence?
I didn't really pay attention. It was a long time ago.
Ah, okay. So hanfy spawning up to the northern position here as our blue Zerg, and spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have alt tabs Ixion going to be spawning as our red Zerg. So there is the potential that hanfy can go for shenanigans again, but it being daybreak, it's a little bit less likely. Vortex got quite lucky early on, or read the situation amazingly well against his previous opponent in the ZVZ we cast, but for the most part, once again, this map really does revolve around denying the thirds and controlling the thirds, and sometimes just faking muta pressure and aggression, just getting an initial wave of mutalisks out, and then from there on transitioning back into Roach Infester, which can be the more potent. But we haven't actually really seen too much Roach Infester at all in ZVZ yet today, which is really, really an uncommon thing to not see too much, so impressive.
Maybe it's a new meta game or something? Or you think it's just unlucky or like a coincidence? It's like not really relevant?
I think that, you know, a lot of Zergs nowadays do like the really great mobility that Zergling Muta styles give them. And the mid-game Roach Infester, and then transitioning onto Hydras as well for the Roach Infester Hydra mix, can sometimes be a little bit difficult to really eke out a good position to engage in if your opponent is being really wary with their defenses. So, and positioning of engagements is everything when it's Roach Infester Hydra versus Roach Infester Hydra. It becomes the most annoying thing to do in the world. So I think people don't particularly like going into that mid game and hoping that their opponent gets overeager and finds a bad engagement spot.
And they went for different builds this time. hanfy went for hatch, pool, gas, and Ixion, he went for pool, hatch, and no gas yet. That's pretty weird, no? Like very late gas. It looks like he's gonna make a third hatch or something.
Yeah, I think that what we might see here from Ixion is a style that I really don't like, and it is just kind of going for that gasless thing and hoping that your front can hold with SimCity, Spines, Queens, as he's already got like 4 Queens in total queued up. He's got 2 on his main hatch, and he's already got 1 out with 1 extra on the way. So he's going to go for a very, very heavily Queen defensive style, which technically, if you can make work and then transition onto a third like you would normally see on Daybreak, leaves you in a great economical position, but it's difficult to make work. So he's going to be the defender.
And isn't there like some really good ways to punish this style? Because I've never seen it before. Like, I mean, there should be a reason why I'm thinking it's not as good as the other styles. What would be a good way to punish that? I
mean, technically speaking, if you realize your opponent doesn't have gas at all, if you realize that by somehow getting into the main, then you can tech up very quickly because, again, this style's very defensive. Look at Ixion. He's already throwing down a second spine crawler with this. So he's anticipating his opponent trying to push. And there we go, actually. hanfy actually is going for a layer at a pretty good time here in comparison to his opponent. And only just now Ixion throws down all 4 gas gases and has to play catch-up, whilst hanfy is not putting on any of the aggression that Ixion was anticipating because hanfy went for speed. So, ta-da!
The thing is, now hanfy is going to have the map control, and I guess he has the initiative a little bit more, but the worker count is still very equal. 38 to 37, both of them are adding a lot of drones right now. And Overlord is going to be taken out. Ooh, yeah, almost made it.
Tis the supply block of doom, as, I mean, for now, Ixion's throwing down double evolution chamber, so I won't be surprised if he goes into very, very quick infestors off the back of his layer. But meanwhile, hanfy hasn't thrown down any evolution chambers at all, so I'm expecting Spire. There we go. So Spire is on the way for him, and from there on, I mean, Ixion might have a hard time with this because he still hasn't started his layer. Ah.
And it will be almost impossible to scout or see it coming. I think he wants to go for Roach heavy style, obviously, since he's making the range upgrade and the carapace. Oh, but actually this Overseer might reveal to him that the lair is already finished. It might set off an alarm.
Yeah, that's very, very important indeed. I was going to point out, but you beat me to the punch, Todd. As for now, I mean, with the Roach Warren going down, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Ixion for some reason went for just a big kind of Roach mid-game all-in, but again, how is he going to deal with this Spire? How is he going to deal with this air aggression that's going to be coming very soon, along with the Lings piling across the map as well? He's got a good wall here for Ixion, but
okay,
again,
did you see that? hanfy just made a Roach Warren. Why is that?
Because basically, I think he might be just going for a small wave of Mutalisks. The Zerglings get in and see the Roach Horn. But yeah, he might just be going for an initial wave of Mutalisks and not committing to it too much to try and... It's the same as going for Phoenix in PvZ. Like,
okay.
To force spores and extra...
So if you play against Mutas, you will make a lot of Mutas, but if you play against ground, then you will just make a few Mutas and then switch into ground.
Yeah, you can do that quite easily. Ooh, interestingly enough here, Nidus Network is on the way. This is going to get really weird. Oh my god, he's going to bring all the queens with him as anti-air and then try and push with a full Roach Warren push. Look where he's moving his Overlord, up to the north. I think he's going to try and put a Nidus in his opponent's main.
But the Mutas might go for this one Overlord. Look, they are all the way up there.
They might.
If they find it, it would be so crazy timing. They find the first one, they see the second one, I think. Do they?
Oh yeah, they just saw it. They just barely caught a glimpse of it. He needs to throw down the Nidus now.
He's not.
And he's going to throw the Nidus in the south at his opponent's third. This is going to get crazy.
I'm surprised he's not making any spores at home. He feels confident he can just defend with his queens, I guess.
Yeah, indeed. Basically, hanfy has to bring the Mutalisks to try and stop this aggression, because right now, there's no Roaches out for hanfy. He has to bring the Mutalisks here to try and deal with this, but with Queen's support, I don't think he can actually do this. Ixion's going to bring down this third base, and from there, Ixion's actually in an amazing spot. hanfy's trying to get Roaches up and Spines, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough here.
And hanfy seems to have no idea what he can do against this. He was going to counter-attack at first, but then he just stuck around and sniped the first Nidus that was made, but there is still another one. And very good defense here, actually. He's made a lot of Roaches, a lot of Spines. I don't know, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to hold, but what do you think?
It's going to be very, very deadly indeed. Right now, the 9 Mutalisks, where are they? They're coming in from the back. They've realized they have to engage, despite Queens being there with great transfuses. Does land quite a few of them, keeping those Queens alive. But the Roaches just piling on massive amounts of pressure at the front. 19 Roaches right now out for Ixion, as opposed to nothing for hanfy. And there you go. GG for game number 2. Ixion. I like that. See? ZVZ is interesting, man.
Yeah.
I love
I'm going to be so good at ZVZ by the end of this tournament. That's
yeah, man, it's great. Okay, so I believe we are going to go to a small break, and then when we are back, we're going to have game 3 of the conclusion here. between these two players.
See you guys in a bit.